Hey guys, what's up? It's the MK Podcast. I'm your host, Maysun K. That is not my real name, but it's close. So this is the this is the soft reboot. Oh, we're off to a great start. It's okay.
First of all, MK. I thought it was MK.
MK.
How's the podcast? It's MK.
It's MK. Yeah. See, exactly. That was the idea behind the original
But you
name.
don't say it's MK. Like what?
Yeah. It's MK. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter how you enunciate. I guess I don't know. But
No, it matters for branding. I'm trying to help you out. I got you. Your title card and your branding stuff so far. I'm working with you, dog.
That's true. Okay, so here with me today, I've got my agent, A-Rock.
Yes. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
That's me. You can call me Aaron or A-Rock.
Aaron. Yeah. Okay.
Aaron's fine.
Okay, for the purpose of the podcast, I guess we can go with Aaron. And I also have someone else here with me. He did the original. He did the original title card for the MK podcast.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. What's your name?
My name is Rat.
Rat. And is that what we're calling you today?
It's what you can call me. You can also call me Kyle. That's my my given name, I suppose.
Right. It's his birth name. It is not the one he chose. But,
So I didn't know that Kyle, that you did the original title card.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay. So I guess that is sort of kismet that we both just agreed to do this based on the tweet, and then you were the original artist, and I'm the new one. Okay.
Yeah. It's funny how that worked out. Actually, I had no idea what response I was honestly going to get, so that was definitely an interesting outcome. But yes, I can't even remember how it came about. I think I just mentioned the podcast a long time ago, back when I was doing my original run with it, and Kyle just made the thing for me on a whim. So that was.
Yeah, I think I was trying to teach myself how to make a neon sign.
Right. It's like, hey, check this out. It looks like it's like a comedy club in like the back alley sort of look. It was cool. But yeah, so we're trying something a little new. This is it's basically the same podcast as before, but I'm with people that are not in the same room as me this time. So because that's what I originally did, was I had people that were actually like around.
Huh.
Yeah. So and what we would do was basically just go around and swap stories. So that is kind of what I was thinking we could try. And one of the things, like the way that like we know each other and crap, that's it's kind of interesting because we know each other online, and I honestly can't even remember how we started really talking, but I do remember that like I think the most common thread between all of us is Zach Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely because
Yeah.
I think we were all just part of that community and just kind of like started like talking.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, Zach Scott is Zach Scott Games, gaming channel. Yeah, we were all fans, and then I think I started talking to you. You two, I think, knew each other before, but online, I don't know, Maysun. I think you started following me afterwards, but on Twitter.
Right.
After joining the Discord server, but basically I started following Zach on Twitter after watching his videos, and then he brought up the Discord server, and that's basically how I got introduced to the two of you.
Yeah. We like I had been watching Zach since like I want to say like 2008 or something, before the gaming channel. Yeah. This is back when he did like skits and stuff. And then all of a sudden he did this gaming thing, and obviously the Minecraft thing blew up, and I think that's just kind of where that's really where I kind of latched on at first, because he introduced this like cast of characters, like his friends and stuff. I was like, that's pretty cool. Kind of got me interested in the whole thing, and then he did this thing for a while back when they were still doing Minecraft, called the UHC server, Ultra Hardcore, and and a bunch of people got to join. I was on there, and so was Kyle.
Yeah, it was for Twitch subscribers.
That's right. Yeah, he didn't do much on Twitch.
Yeah, I would say that it was kind of a waste of money, but I made a lot of friends there, so I don't think I could.
Yeah, exactly. Like it was something like it was funny though. I forgot to unsubscribe, and he had already announced he was never going back to Twitch, and I had been subscribed for months.
You're just peddling him $5.
Yeah, he's got a random $5 for me for like a year, even though he hasn't done anything on there. So
that sounds like my gym membership.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, I know.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Yeah, there was I actually was paying for a gym membership I wasn't using for a long time. Last year I moved to Maine for like 6 months, and just randomly in January $40 dropped out of my account. I was like, "What is this?" And then I looked at my statement, and it said gym, and I was like, "Oh no." But
I had that happen. I was like running out of money. I was like, "What the heck is going on? Let me look at my expenses." And every month $20 was coming out of my account. I was like, "What is this?" And it was a gym membership that I thought was supposed to have expired after a year, because I didn't know that they would just renew it automatically just because I had my credit card information.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like I trying to cancel it before, because I did try to cancel it before the first year was up.
Yeah.
But like they tried looking me up, they couldn't find my name, they couldn't find my email address. So I was like, okay, well maybe I guess it was already canceled, and so I didn't even think about it until months, like almost a year later, or even over a year later, I think. Right. And saw that they were taking money out, and it turns out they had my name wrong. They had my middle name as my last name, and then they had my email address wrong, because I have the email address and then there are some numbers, and they didn't have the numbers in there.
Yeah.
And so even trying to cancel, I couldn't. That they couldn't even find my information based on my own information, because they put it in wrong.
Oh my god.
And then so finally I was able to get it canceled. But then in order to get that, it was over $500 that they had charged me for.
That is wild.
Beyond this thing and whatever. And I was thinking about this just today.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to get in contact with this person who was the head of whatever the gym corporation, and then she was supposed to handle the case, but I never heard back from her.
Yeah. That's crazy. All I know, because I never formally quit it, but all of a sudden they just stopped charging me. So I have to assume that by not showing up, they actually had had on record that I wasn't using it, because I didn't even use it the month that they charged me for, and then I never used it again. And
yeah, the thing is, I recommend anybody, if you want to get a gym membership, pay for the whole year up front, but pay cash. Don't give them your credit card information.
That's actually a really good policy, because I mean, you don't want to get stuck in a commitment like that. It sucks. But the funny thing about my membership is that I can't even go back there ever again, because it's through a company that my friend's dad works for, and the only reason that I could get in is because I have that connection to my friend's family. And they just recently they put in a policy recently where friends of family that work for the company, you can no longer have a membership with them. So I can't even go back to that gym. So that's probably why the money stopped coming out. I think they canceled it. They're like, oh, he has no direct connection to the company, so he can't come back. So that was.
And they still work there at that gym?
My friend's dad does. He works in it's a facility. They do all sorts of stuff over there, but actually, I mean, I might as well say it. He works for Texas Instruments. So yeah,
all right.
Well, that's.
Yeah, they had a whole facility with an on-site gym and all that stuff. They had a pool. It was pretty cool. They had a track and all that stuff. We used to just go there and hang out. It was fun. I didn't really take the weight thing very seriously, though. I'm not a muscular person. Basically, I just go there and spot my friends and be like, "Hey, can you help?"
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I can't work out at a gym anyway. The only reason I got a gym membership at the place where I was because it was $20 and I could have unlimited access to the tanning bed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. But like to get a similar any kind of thing like at a tanning salon, it would be like $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cheaper to get a gym membership, I thought.
Right.
But I hate working out in front of people.
Yeah, you're very on display there. It's one of the most like, I'm trying to think of the word, but it's like you are putting yourself out there, and it's what is it like? All of your like physical insecurities are right there for other people to see.
And it's not so much like, I mean, people get like super self-conscious about other reasons. Like I'm not self-conscious about like my size or anything like that, or like how much bigger in shape other people are.
Yeah.
But just like the way that I work out, I like doing like push-ups. Like I don't want to put my hands on a gym floor.
Right.
Am I like I don't want to get like warts and stuff on my hands. Like I just feel like that's just like a cesspool.
Yeah.
Of like all the worst diseases.
Right.
Yeah, like I'll do it on my own floor. The floor exists.
I was like, I only want my own germs, so if I'm dunking my face down there.
The only thing that I wouldn't want to do in front of other people is pull-ups.
Yeah.
My pull-ups aren't very strong, like aren't very good.
Yeah,
I suck at cardio. Like I hate running on treadmills.
Oh yeah, I'm so like not physical that I embarrass myself no matter what I'm doing there. All we were doing, they had an indoor track at this gym, and it circles right above like a basketball court. So we're running it, and I was very stupid at the time because I didn't pay attention to the things you were supposed to do before you go to the gym, because you're supposed to go through a whole regimen of things like eating, for instance, which or drinking. I didn't either. I went into the gym that morning without having done any of that, and I had a friend of mine, and he was putting it lightly, he was not as in shape as I was, and yet he was at one point he was running circles around me to the point where like because I wasn't ready, I was trying to keep up with everyone. It was like, yeah, I get kind of like stupid competitive sometimes with that sort of thing, just because everyone else is doing it. So like we were running the track, and as they're running, I realize I'm starting to go I'm coming up behind them. So I'm like, oh, I need to kick it up a little bit. So I kick it into high gear, and all of a sudden I start feeling lightheaded. And I don't even remember how far I made it, but I remember purposefully passing them up, and then as I went around the first bend that they were coming to, I stop dead in my tracks and fall up against the wall. I couldn't even, like, my vision was gone, and it was just absolutely insane. I'd never felt like that before. My whole body was giving out, and I couldn't even keep myself up. So I had like all my friends were like stopped and like, hey, do you need help? And they took me to the whatchamacallit. They took me to the showers, and we just.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Now the story's getting good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of, guys, anyone that has never been to a gym before, depending on the kind of gym, the showers are like the ones that I went to. They were connected to a hot tub. Like the hot tub was right across from the showers, and they do not care about privacy there. No curtains, no nothing. And I think that's standard procedure for gyms, because like all I remember is that every time we'd get in the hot tub just to kind of like relax after a workout, there'd be like 5 old dudes suddenly decide they want to take a shower, and yeah, they leave nothing to the imagination. It's all out there for you to see. So just bear in mind that will happen.
Yeah. I like the last time I was in. It wasn't I guess it was a locker room, because I was in. I spent a few weeks up in Washington State last year, and we went to this. It was a gym / park area where it had like a few little pools and a slide.
Yeah.
and that was the last time I went in, and there was like a bunch of old dudes. Like no matter where, any locker room, anywhere has naked old men walking around in it.
It's true. No, yeah. Like they didn't even have to be in the showers. They would literally just be in the locker area, and they'd just be walking by, hanging brain. I'm like, oh,
I just have like images. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad he would go to the gym a lot, and I'd go there too sometimes, like to go swimming, and so he'd go I'd go to the locker room to change because that's what I was supposed to do, or whatever. Yeah. And just remember seeing like first time seeing just like a bunch of old wrinkled dongs, and like I had this image in my head of this guy sitting like in the shower. He was like, they had like a bench seat in the shower, and he was sitting there, legs spread, crotch facing me, like, oh god. Like that's locker room, I guess, is like one of the few places where you have plausible deniability for exposing yourself to a child, but that's basically what it was.
yeah, absolutely. No, like, I mean, like, as a child, if you go into a men's locker room at a gym, you're gonna most likely see some stuff. That's, I mean, that's just the facts of life. And I mean, heck, if you're going to learn it anywhere, you might as well be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one thing that I was really worried about. Cause it's very like, not, I mean, like now I guess it depends on who I'm naked around, but, but like being naked in front of another person was like very like, oh no, never going to happen.
Yeah.
And so like, I was terrified. Like that's one of the things, like people are scared of like different things in high school. One thing that I was definitely afraid of was like, are they going to make me shower in front of other people naked? But like, it totally wasn't like that. Like a lot of people like didn't shower. Like I don't think anybody did. I saw one kid shower once, but he was in shorts.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah, I think a lot of people.
I don't think you could live that down. Like if you're in a high school where it's a normal thing, but like I guess it would be totally acceptable for you to shower naked technically, but you could not live that down.
Yeah, it's a kid, like it's kind of a kid thing to be ashamed because like you're just not used to it. But like when you're at a place like a gym, that does, I mean, it's gonna be there, and it's whatever. I never really, I remember I did shower with shorts whenever I was at that gym, but it was just because like I didn't really care. But like I was just like, okay, maybe I was thinking I didn't want to like make anyone miserable because I don't know. I do have a bit of a shame gland when it comes to that sort of thing, but that's just me.
Yeah, there's like a certain level of like body type where you're either like super attractive and people are gonna stare, or you're super grotesque and people are gonna stare.
Right.
But if you could like fall right in that sweet spot, and then it's like you could be totally fine and no one's gonna.
Yeah,
and not have to worry that much about people staring. If that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I would fit somewhere in the middle of it, to the point where like it's all in my head, like thinking, oh no, people are looking, but really they're not. Because I think when it comes to like the men's locker room, everyone's just like, I need to get in and out, and I don't really care who sees what, or if I see something, we just get it over with. And I think a lot of people don't realize that's probably the mindset everyone goes in there with. But yeah. So
yeah, I usually try to stay out, and like I don't really go to like a gym.
Yeah.
I just like go outside and like climb a tree or something.
Oh yeah. That's nature's gym. That's heck, I used to do that stuff all the time. I was a much more active kid than I am now.
Yeah, I'm very sedentary now.
Yeah. I've become more of a stationary person. Even my job, I'm sitting down for extended periods of time. My last like 2 jobs actually. Because right now I'm doing deliveries for like Uber, and I mean it's just sitting in a car for hours, and I mean I might be getting a little bit too complacent, honestly.
Are you doing Uber Eats, or are you doing
Uber Eats? I don't need anyone in my car. Not
Uber man transport.
Yeah. I've heard plenty of stories about normal Uber transport, and it was just an arena that I wasn't sure about, because then you have to interact with these strangers. on such like a constant basis, and I kind of like the in and out interaction of just delivering them food.
Yeah.
Because they're almost always happy to see you.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I've put myself into lately. And I don't know, it made me feel kind of good, but then like I'll get back in the car and then someone will send me a negative rating and it'll be like, why? And sometimes they tell you, sometimes they don't. Little trade secret. They have whenever you get a negative thing, like a negative rating on the Uber thing as like a driver, they tell you sometimes if there's a specific reason. But if someone gives you a negative and then lists a non-specific reason like other, they don't tell you what you did. And most of mine are non-specifics. It's like, oh, he didn't like.
I'm just offended by your existence.
Yes.
So you're.
Yeah, it's like he smiles funny.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I did make one terrible misstep once. One of my first deliveries, I went to this person's house, and they had one of those things where they had like the half circle window at the top. And like you can see straight into the house, and so me being an idiot, after I knock on the door and nobody responds for like 10 seconds, I look through the thing and the guy is walking right up as I'm looking through, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So he caught me like I felt like such a peeping Tom at that point. I was dying of embarrassment.
I delivered pizza for like a week.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like that, where like I would ring the door, and then like, oh, they're not showing up. It's been like, it's been like 10, 15 seconds they're not here.
Yeah, you just kind of like there's something about that like curiosity.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
yeah, it's when I'm trying to think. I was going to say something, and now I forgot what it was. I was afraid this was going to happen. But there it is. It's out in the open.
Well, like, growing up, like, thinking about what I would do for jobs, for work, one thing that I had thought about was, like, being like you guys were talking about, like, delivering food.
Yeah.
But, like, it's sort of an unreasonable fear of getting, like, robbed or shot at somebody's door.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's definitely a thing that's there.
But like I had a ton of unreasonable fears. Like there's like the things that ended up not being like a worry at all, like killer bees.
Yeah.
Like right. They were like supposedly like they were like invading and it was going to be some huge problem.
Oh yeah.
But
it's kind of like when you watch the news for the latest epidemic, but it's really kind of like out of the realm of possibility that you'd ever actually come in contact.
Yeah, but like killer bees seem the most plausible because like you can't necessarily track like where they are at the moment.
Yeah.
There was some.
Yeah, and then you get things like swine flu and bird flu that just never catch on.
Right.
And the Ebola outbreak that was supposedly happened a few years ago.
Right. Yeah, I never caught any of that, but supposedly there were some strains of it in Texas, which is like that's where we are. Well, that's where I am. But,
I'm there.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Kyle is there, but Aaron is not.
Nope.
What a loser.
Well, we were discussing before this started. We were trying to figure out like what time to do everything, and I remember discussing time zones, and then forgetting that it's daylight savings time, right?
Yep.
That's right. And I just that's never a thought in my head. I just realized one day like, oh, I lost an hour, or oh, I gained an hour.
I never really understood, not necessarily like why.
Yeah.
But just like because I'm not actually losing an hour.
Yeah.
Like I still have the same amount of time.
Well, yeah, time like it's just it's a construct, and they just like, this is the imaginary line, we're moving it a different direction. So,
and it's because like the Earth year is actually like 364.8 days or something like that instead.
Right.
Yeah.
But I used to work security a couple of years ago, and
365.25
to be specific.
Sounds like a Kingdom Hearts title.
Hey, don't give many ideas.
Wasn't there already like 365 and a half days?
I remember like this. It's 358 over 2 days, and he said like what's his name? The guy that made him. He said that is how you say it. 358 over 2 days. That is how you pronounce the title. And I'm like, that's
stupid.
Yeah, I was
that's like even stupider than the content of that franchise in general.
Oh man, But when I was working security, though, I told them that I could work any shift because I was desperate for work at the time. And so naturally, when I said I could work any shift, they gave me the graveyard shift like 24/7. Like every day that they had me on, it was always the graveyard shift. So I was always working through midnight. And I still remember the first time daylight savings time kicked in. And I watched it go from, what was it? It was like 12 o'clock to straight, or it went from 12 o'clock straight to 1 o'clock. And I was like, whoa. It was like my phone actually said that, or I can't even remember when it actually kicked in. I just remember watching my phone because I knew it was going to happen. I was like, I just want to see it. And then like it happened, and I was like, well, that was kind of anticlimactic, but I was like, dang.
Goes 12 to 1.
Oh,
interesting.
What is that?
Usually it goes like it skips like it starts 2 a.m. is usually when it happens.
Yeah,
here at least.
Yeah,
but I don't know if different states do it differently.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was like, I thought it was 12 or 1 o'clock, so maybe it jumped from like 1 to 2. But I just remember looking at it and being like, dang, that's crazy.
Some states don't do it at all, and I think they've got it figured out.
Yeah, I think they
might. California is trying to pass something with that. But I think they don't know about doing daylight time or standard time. I hope they do standard time.
Right.
For all the reasons that no one cares about, but I think standard time would be better than daylight time.
Yeah, because it was invented for reasons that I don't think matter anymore, right? I'm trying to remember.
I mean,
what it was. It was like it was because of farmers, right? That gives them extra time or something.
I don't. Well, I think Benjamin Franklin wanted to institute it, but then it like went away, and I think that might have been something for farmers. But then some president brought it back in the United States,
right?
For something with energy conservation. I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems kind of like antiquated and dumb. Like I don't need to do.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, we always do this, so we always will. It's a time-honored tradition. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like saying "under God" in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh,
it's always been that way. Actually, it hasn't. Well, it should be that way. Continuing.
Right. Yeah. That was that was an interesting debate because I had never thought about it before that. It was because I mean that's how it always was for me, but I mean it turns out that's been around since like the 50s, I think. And I mean, I don't know if they're actually kicking it out or not because I mean, I haven't been in school in forever, so I don't know.
I act like I haven't been in school recently.
Yeah, considering the company I keep, I would say that I still act very young for my age. But
I kind of like doing it, like just acting really really young.
Yeah,
but like fun. You stay just outside of the of like what's actually cool.
Yeah. Oh, I live outside of cool. I don't.
You go out running around, going like, oh, lit, like oh, it's lit, guys.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of like weird dad hip.
Yeah. I do like. Oh, I'm skipping straight into dad territory with that sort of thing. I lost track of all the cool things to do now, so like I'm saying all the stuff from like 5 years ago.
I try to do it because the internet moves so fast. Right?
Yeah. It does. Actually, trends are getting recycled like crazy because of that.
You post like a week old meme,
And they're like, wow.
And then people are like, what are you doing?
They're like, thanks, Grandpa.
But, and I kind of really like being that, like...
Yeah. But, I can't even remember, like... I just, like... I was never into the meme scene, but I guess the fact that I'm on Twitter more has made me more in tune with, like, all the stuff that they've been doing. But it's, like, I think millennial humor has progressed into, like, this, like, sort of, like, self-hating thing, which is kind of strange.
I kind of love it.
Yeah, well, they're like, yeah, it's like, like, one of the most common jokes is like, oh, I wish I was dead, or whatever, like, or, well, I mean, obviously, it's got a little bit more finesse than that, but,
yeah,
but they're like, they're just constantly making self-deprecating jokes about, like, wishing they weren't alive, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I have nothing against it. I just like.
I don't like this they in referring to millennials.
yeah. No, I'm a millennial. I am absolutely
like as if we're all not. I mean, I don't know about Aaron. I don't know how old.
Well, like I am a millennial, but like I think Kyle, what you're pretty. I guess you are a millennial though, but like right after you, like not long after. I think like people who are born 90.
Gen X.
Yeah,
Gen
like still people born in the 90s are Gen Z.
Yeah, there's
and so and they're coming up and they're becoming prevalent, but then people are still calling them millennials just because hating on millennials has been the meme for the past 20 years.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, they're like, "Oh, stupid millennials, like, oh, they're doing this now, like
yeah.
It's like look at how stupid they are. Meanwhile, the 20-somethings are like, "What? I'm not doing any of that. What are you talking about?" But yeah.
Killing American cheese was our best.
Yeah. Well, oh man, what have millennials killed lately? I'm trying to think.
Straws.
Yeah, we're killing straws. That's right. The restaurants.
I used a straw the other
day. oh, we're keeping them for ourselves.
Plastic bags.
Yeah. Shopping. Depending on where you go, like I remember for a while. Actually, no. Depending on the grocery store, shopping bags like plastic. Yeah, the plastic bags. Like Aldi, for instance, does not do bags unless it's like one of the reusable ones. I know that.
I'm like, I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, how is that bad?
Yeah. Well, it's not a big deal. I just like. It's funny though because they introduced a lot of like different policies that I'd never heard of before, like the cart return thing. Like you have to put a quarter in, and that like in order to use it or whatever.
That's at Aldi. Yeah, they just like deleted someone's job.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean that job does like.
The place is called Aldi.
Aldi.
Yeah,
it's ALDI.
Okay,
it's a grocery store. It's like
it's from Germany.
Yeah, it's I've been there a few times. We used to go there a lot, but lately
I don't think we have those in California.
Maybe
I've
not.
Price match there a lot. I have you know, I've made the milk $1.86, you know?
Yeah. But
so much of it.
Do you have Albertsons?
Yes.
Okay, we have those there.
The Albertsons was a pretty common chain. We've still got some. We used to have a lot more, but I know a lot of them got closed down recently.
What about Lucky?
Albertsons bought Randall's.
Yeah. What were you saying, Aaron?
Lucky.
No.
Grocery store Lucky.
Do not have that.
No. Sounds like a dog.
I just remember the commercials for Lucky. It had this like old redheaded lady. In the commercial, and she would like wear bright red, and she had bright red lipstick. She kind of looked like Dear Abby or something.
Was it like, was it like Flo, but not?
No, she had like short hair, like Sally Jesse Raphael. That's like super hip with these references.
Yeah. So like darn
actually,
millennial.
I don't even know if they still have them where I live, but I remember as a kid, there were Lucky grocery stores.
Oh man, I'm like failing to remember the names, but we used to have a lot. We still have like Tom Thumbs and stuff, And the further south you go, I think in Texas, we have places like HEB. That's a pretty common one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember. There was this one.
I love HEB.
Yeah. Do you get Buddy Bucks?
I used to get Buddy Bucks all the time, yeah. I have one just as like a meme.
Yeah. They we used to live in San Antonio. That was our go-to. And how does it work? They give them to you for purchases?
Oh, like if you have a kid with you.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's how we got them, because I had a little sister, and she used to collect that stuff and turn it in for like prizes.
Yeah, there's like a little machine.
Yeah, that's right.
There's like
that's
a little
right.
like teach your kids how to gamble kind of slot
Yeah,
machine.
yeah, to start them young. Because you can't bring them into the casino yet, but you want to get them thinking about it.
Yeah, speaking of that kids gambling things, you guys saw the Shane Dawson thing on Chuck E. Cheese?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see that?
No. What?
Oh man, I guess maybe I can't talk about it then.
That was sort of one of those things where I was like, God, I'll just like not participate in this one.
Yeah, like though as a whole, I think it really suffered because of like he added stuff later on with involving his friend. It's a really sad story. I think that should have gotten its own sort of coverage.
Yeah.
And it kind of like the way he broke it up, I didn't really like it, but basically it was focusing on part of the thing with Chuck E. Cheese was about their pizza, but what really got me was about how a lot of the games and stuff, it was just promoting gambling to kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I have been to a Chuck E. Cheese maybe twice in my life, once as a kid and once as an adult, going to my friend's son's birthday party or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't really pick up on how the games might have changed or varied from like normal sort of arcade games, but
right.
the stuff they were showing, it was like there was like a wheel.
Uh-huh.
You spin a wheel and it just pops up some number, and then you get that number of tickets or whatever. And that is 100% gambling.
Yeah, I think I know exactly what you're talking about, because we used to go to those places a lot, and had any arcade. Well, like we went to this one place while we were up in Washington, and it was just it was one of those like multi-purpose places. They had like bowling, laser tag, arcade, and restaurant.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I can't remember what it was called, but they had all that stuff. And in the arcade, a bunch of them were just like ticket machines where you were basically taking your luck with it. And I'm like, if you crank the lever down, the thing spins, but does the way you crank it really even make a difference? That's like, and I mean, that to me kind of defines whether or not like it's strictly gambling, I guess. I mean, it still is kind of no matter what, but
yeah, there was a whole thing I think in the 70s where basically, like, I didn't know this until I had taken a course on like the history of gaming in college, and it's so ancient games, but then got into more modern stuff and covered the story. Even Drunk History did a thing about it, about like pinball machines being illegal in New York and other states. And basically because they were viewed as games of chance,
right? And
so and even like things like playing cards and dice, like a lot of places were banned because they were like sort of like a faith, quote unquote, faith-based type of game, like where things were left up to chance, but then they could be like manipulated and things, and they didn't want that. And so the guy basically had to he did a demonstration, I think twice, with the pinball machine, showing that it did involve skill. So that led to it being like made legal again to be pinball. But when you get games now, it seems like if a game like that just thing with a spinning wheel is allowed at an arcade, that is 100% gambling for kids.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't care so much about like, they play these games and then they just get a few tickets, because part of what you were paying for is the experience of playing the game. So I don't necessarily care about getting just like a small amount of tickets, but like when it's the stuff like gambling, like that makes a difference. And again, like I was in Washington last year, and while I was there, there was like an arcade, bowling / card room.
Right.
So it was like, it had all three. It had like little kids, like a lot of teens do bowling, and arcades and stuff, and then like the card room is right there attached. So it's like, so like that seems like that's so very close, and just like strange that they get away with that, considering how heavily regulated gambling is or used to be anyway.
Right, yeah.
And plus, I was really dissatisfied because I lost my money really quickly at that card room.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that's the worst. My family has a little bit of strangely good luck at casinos, and it's funny because I never go with them. Like they always talk about how they went and stuff, but whenever I go to see my family, it's never like, oh yeah, let's go to the casino or whatever. But like I always hear stories about like my other siblings going with my parents. And they're like, oh yeah, we made like $100, and I'm like, really? I've been into them. Like I've walked into them before, but like only to like eat.
Yeah, I have like aunts and uncles and stuff who like they get money and they immediately go to like casinos and stuff, and it's really it's pretty sad actually.
Yeah.
But
oh man.
But actually, yeah, I mean, gambling and stuff. Luckily, I mean, I have gambled some and lost, but like I don't do things like scratchers and stuff. Like scratchers, that really, getting really depressing to talk about stuff like this. But like I think like people talk about like because I heard some statistic that that like people of like a certain like lower income bracket, like they spend like huge amounts of their like money on like lotto tickets and stuff.
Right.
And like and I think it's a lot of like scratchers, but scratchers never appeal to me. I do every once in a while. I'll the Powerball or something like that. But
yeah, I did like I think that's the last thing I really did was the Powerball, and I think I won like $5 once.
Yeah, that's the most I ever won.
Yeah, I won $12 on a Powerball the other. Like the last time it was like 400 million or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, I look at those numbers like whenever they show them on the billboards, and it's like, oh yeah, like 400 billion or whatever, or like $5 billion, and I'll be like, dang, that's cool. But then I'll think about it and be like, yeah, but who's gonna win it?
There was actually a huge jackpot. I don't remember how much it was, but there was like one. There was a sole winner, and really like.
My gosh.
I almost feel like there needs to be a cap to how much to give away, because like if one person wins, like they can create like a supervillain overnight, just giving like any random person just here's $1 billion.
Right.
Like here is like more money than the gross than the GDP of like 90% of the rest of the world.
My gosh. Yeah, really. Yeah, that's a heck of an origin story actually.
I won the lottery, and then I built a nuclear missile silo in the desert.
Oh man, that speaking of like villains and stuff, I watched a little bit of the Joker trailer they put out.
I hadn't seen that. No.
It's interesting because from what I understand, and I am very much not the person you need to talk to about comic book stuff. But from what I was told, and like from what I've seen, this version of the Joker is based on The Killing Joke, which I believe got mixed reviews. And they did.
That's a comic, The Killing Joke.
Yeah, Killing. Yeah, it's. I think they also made an animated version of it too. I think, if like, I'm pretty sure they did.
I got a question for you. Like, does in this universe where The Killing Joke exists? This is also it's a universe where Batman exists, right?
Yes, yeah. So that raised a question for me, and I think that this version of the Joker is by himself. I'm not sure. I don't think I saw an inkling of Batman in the trailer.
Oh, finally.
Yeah, so, like something. Yeah, like this. Like the Joker movie might be something that I'm interested in. I don't really have an interest in like all the like the mashups and anything that's like led up to like all the Iron Man movies. Like I haven't been in any of those, any of the other Spider-Man movies since Tobey Maguire.
Oh,
I think I watched The Dark Knight was like the most recent superhero movie I watched.
Oh man,
the newest one, and then before that it was like the only other one I'd seen was the Spider-Man 2 with Tobey Maguire.
Oh gosh, everyone.
Spider-Man 2 is real good.
Yeah, everyone hated like Well, I wouldn't say everyone hated Spider-Man 3, but it got a lot of like mixed reviews. I think mostly because of the way and I think this is a large part of it because they made Peter the symbiote. They introduced the symbiote thing that created Venom. And it gets on Peter, and he becomes like this '70s emo, and they do a whole arc with it, and it's just like
I love it.
It was the most ridiculous thing ever, but it was my favorite thing they ever did with
It's
Tobey
the
Maguire.
best. He comes out of that out of that bar, and he's just like spinning around, his hands going, "Hey!"
Yeah, dude, yeah, he was like the Fonz.
It's incredible.
Yeah, part of me, like when they do a superhero movie, it's like they keep on doing origin stories.
Yeah,
and that kind of like bugged me. But when I take a step back and like look at it, like a lot of the lore of comic books, it gets really like weird with the stories.
Yeah,
right.
So like the most normal part is at the beginning.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that they would stick with that rather than going like see with Spider-Man 3, like where all of a sudden his character totally changes and then that upsets people.
Yeah. See, like,
I mean, the MCU has been a very interesting. It's been an interesting area to live in as far as cinema.
Yeah, they've taken over. They've taken over everything. Jeez. Well, what was funny about that was they didn't even have an origin story for that Spider-Man. They're like, oh, here he is.
Yeah, they were like, Spider-Man.
I was like, you've seen it before. They even do that bit in Into the SpiderVerse where it's like, all right, you guys already know how this goes, so let's just keep it rolling. And I loved Into the SpiderVerse.
SpiderVerse was real good. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. That is probably one of my favorite like new Spider-Man things they've ever done. Like the animation was really cool, and I love Penny Parker. And Noir Spider-Man.
You might want to slow down.
No. Anyway, Nicolas Cage as Noir Spider-Man. That was my favorite, actually. I
didn't know he was in that movie. That's cool.
Yeah, no, yeah. He plays the black and white like 1940s Spider-Man. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Like it was. It was fun. I liked the movie a lot. The only thing, and this isn't really a problem, but they kind of underutilize some of the alternate Spider people a little bit. I mean, they come in a lot at the end, but there was part of me that was like, yeah, I want to spend more time with these alternate versions, though.
I believe they're doing a sequel. I think they made enough money.
Yeah. I think they're like, oh, people like this.
I saw a petition. Or not a petition, but like a I guess a goal by the studio.
Yeah.
Where they were like, if we make 200 million, we're gonna put that like Japanese like Sentai Spider-Man in the second one.
Right. Yeah, they like I heard that they were planning on a bunch of spin-offs based on it, like if it worked out. So I think they might be doing a series at some point for one of them or a couple of them. I'm not sure. But apparently it was big enough of a hit that like it's kind of creating a ripple effect in the Spider-Verse. So, I mean, I'm all for it. But, yeah, I think that'll be fun. Definitely going to keep an eye on it. But I will say that I think that the theaters have been oversaturated with superhero stuff. That's like everyone, like whenever they talk about the movies, I swear most people are talking about Avengers or whatever else is going on. Because
I mean, we've almost crescendoed on that.
Yeah.
Right. We got what is it, like a week, 2?
Yeah, something like that. It's next month, right?
Next month?
Oh wait, no, it's this month.
No, it's this month. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was getting it confused. I don't know what I think is happening in May, but yeah, that'll be something. I don't know what they're gonna do afterward, but I mean, they're still doing Spider-Man, so
they're still making.
Yeah.
They're still making enough money where it doesn't make sense for them to stop, even if the narrative conclusion.
Yeah, and there's still going to be another Black Panther movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and
I think there's gonna be more Doctor Strange.
Yeah, they didn't they used him in Thor Ragnarok, but they didn't use him much elsewhere except for the Avengers. And I just think it's funny that Benedict Cumberbatch is doing an American accent. I'm not used to it at all.
Yeah,
it's so weird because I used to I binged Sherlock several times, and it's bizarre. Oh man.
My favorite thing Benedict Cumberbatch did was Smaug.
What? Oh, that's right. Man, I forgot about that. I feel really...
I still haven't seen the third Hobbit movie, but I saw the second one in 3D.
Oh man.
And when he's the dragon, he's all big and stuff, and he's talking to Bilbo, and he's like, "You're a thief and a liar," and that made my butthole quiver. I got scared.
Nice.
Yeah, well, I saw Spy Kids 3 in 3D.
Neat. Dude, that was my first 3D movie.
Okay.
Gosh. Oh, I totally put that out of my mind for the longest time, but after it came out, we bought it on DVD. And it came Huh?
That quote from Spy Kids, was it from Spy Kids 2 or Spy Kids 3?
Which one?
Where he was like, "Do you think that God stays in heaven?"
That's actually 2. And that's some Steve Buscemi wisdom. Buscemi?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say yes.
That's acceptable.
But it was like, do you think God stays up in heaven because he's afraid of what he's created down here? And I'm like, no. No.
Well, I think that's kind of like a play on a Shakespearean quote or something like that, where it's like, and heaven is, or hell is empty because the demons are on earth or something like that.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess it just felt so out of place because of Spy Kids being what it is.
Yeah, it's so what?
Yeah.
Why is this here? It's too deep for Spy Kids.
Yeah, exactly. I did not.
Spy Kids 1, you got "My watch doesn't tell time," and that's that's their most popular joke. And then that's the kind of stuff that they're dealing with, and then it's getting really dark.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've only seen the first one, and I had no interest in Spy Kids movie, but that was the first movie my mom bought on DVD.
Spy Kids,
the first one
has the Dinkster that comes down. Yeah,
the first DVD that my mom ever bought. And it was a family thing because we got our the first laptop that we bought that played DVDs, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll just watch it on that." And my mom bought what was it? The Peter Pan sequel that nobody remembers. It came out right when DVDs were a thing, and then the second one was Stuart Little 2, which I was
a classic.
Yeah, I was obsessed with it because on the DVD of that, they had this feature where if you put it in the computer, you got to redub a bunch of the scenes, and I went to town on that thing. We redubbed the crap out of that movie. I loved it. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was so stupid. I need to get a new version. I needed to get a new copy of that DVD because we ran it into the ground. That's how much we used it. It was hilarious. I heard they did that with some other movies too, but I'm not sure which ones had the feature because it was kind of short-lived.
Hey, Rock, do you get every time a rock-based meme happens, do you get it 100 times in your inbox? People spam you with it?
No, I have no friends.
They're like, yeah.
I don't know how many rock-based memes there are, but every time I hear anybody on TV say the words just "a rock," I'm like, hey, that's me.
Right.
I've permeated my own brain, this brand that I've created.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's sort of every time a news story comes out with a rat, it'll just sort of appear, and people will come out of the woodwork and send me.
Yeah.
You've been going with the rat thing for a lot longer, so I do think of rats. I do think of you.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if I have. changed, like, right when Discord came out. I was always Ratchet72 before that. And then, sort of in high school, right when the word Ratchet started to be associated with things that I don't want to really be associated with, I guess.
Right.
I sort of I was like, I'll shorten it. So I shortened it to Rat, basically.
Oh man, when I was I don't think I actually know the truth behind this, but like I used to go my first like YouTube account, I went by a Smash Kitten, and I can't remember why. I think it was like some amalgamation of Smash Brothers and then like the fact that I like cats. I don't even know. And it was just the stupid thing I came up with to get on YouTube.
Then you get a bunch of horny old men messaging you, being like, "Hey."
Yeah. No, more people just being like, "Hey, man, it's not animal abuse is not cool." Like apparently that's what I was promoting. They're like, "What? No, that's not what this is." It was just like I like Super Smash Brothers. Actually, when Smash came out on the Wii U, I started uploading a bunch of my the stupidest replays of matches that I had. And I'm terrible because whenever I go into Smash, I play as I used to like to do this. I would play as Kirby, and I would sit at the edge of a stage, and I would suck the person up, and then basically suicide bomb. I would suicide bomb, and then I was able to recover, and the other person was like Ganondorf, and they got screwed because they have no recovery jump. And it was like I made someone very upset when I did that, and that was the trolliest thing I'd ever done online. It's on my YouTube somewhere. I'm probably gonna rewatch it now that I brought it up. But it was like me. I was Kirby, and the guy was Ganondorf, and it was just the funniest thing. But I don't know if I'd ever do that again because I felt like a jerk after that.
Yeah, I'd gone years under the false impression that I was good at video games because I didn't play against other people. I was like, I just beat the computer and think that I was good.
Yeah.
And then the first time I played my neighbor at Smash Brothers Melee, and he just totally took me to school.
Oh man, yeah, that's kind of how I was. And the fact of the matter is that I always kind of knew I was mediocre at video games, but I always thought I was pretty decent at competitive stuff. But then like my friends, like it's a whole different level of commitment to the game that I never had to begin with.
Yeah.
I always come in third, like, to everything.
When they bring Melee out, you know it's over already.
Yeah.
Like, especially these days. If somebody comes up to you like now, I'm like, let's play Melee. You're like, oh, Jesus.
It's just like, oh, he's one of those.
Like, me and my friends have been playing Melee sort of on NetPlay for a little while.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like a fun version of like, oh, let's just, dick around in Melee. But if like someone walks up to you with like a GameCube in hand,
yeah, they're holding it by the handle. It's just like, yeah.
I don't think I ever have actually held a GameCube by the handle. I didn't trust it.
Back when it first came out, I didn't even realize what it was. I was like cradling it like a baby. I'd be like, hey guys. And they're like, that thing on the back is for you to hold it on. And I'm like, really?
It seems so weird that they would be like,
yeah.
I guess it's a precursor to the Switch, right? It's the first portable.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you can take this anywhere. It was like this, like it was a pretty small console. So I guess that was probably the draw. They're like, oh, it's so small, you might as well throw a handle on it. You can just like take it wherever you go.
And also just had AV and power.
Yeah, that's true.
It
wasn't super complicated. Neither is the Switch, actually. That's HDMI and power, that's it. And then, of course, portability.
We dropped a GameCube off of, like, a bunk bed once, and it stopped working.
Oh, man.
And then we were like, oh, man, we should try to fix it. So one of the other kids that was with me sort of, like, they did it again, and then it just started working again.
Wow. Dang. my uncle gave us a PlayStation, like the original PlayStation from the 90s, and as a gift because like he wasn't playing it anymore, obviously. So he gave it to us, and like I remember I had set it up on top of our dresser so that we could play it, and we just had like stupid games. It was like I think I owned Sim Theme Park, and that was the game I used to get on a lot whenever I played. And I remember the beds were far away from the dresser to the point where like you were like holding your arms out to the edge of the bed just so that you could have the controller in your hands, like without being like super uncomfortable. And I remember at one point accidentally yanking like back on the controller, and it pulled the whole thing down and it broke. And I was never able to play it again. And our Sim Theme Park disc was like shattered. It's like, oh man, yeah, it kind of bummed me out.
I don't think I ever broke the PS2 that I had.
Yeah,
that was the first console I ever got.
Yeah, we had a PS2, and that still works. I think. I think at the time we just bought it for Kingdom Hearts because like this is before the story got super convoluted.
I know.
Yeah.
It's always stupid.
Yeah, they
go back and play Kingdom Hearts 1. It was still mega stupid.
Yeah. Oh gosh, the cutscenes are like really cringy. They're funny though. Someone put up a compilation called Kingdom Hearts Out of Context. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was like one of the lines in Kingdom Hearts Recoded Sora says, "Riku is inside of me," or something. And it's just like, that's basically sexual. And a lot of the lines come off that way when they're taken out of context because like it's such a metaphorical game. It's ridiculous.
Oh, light, darkness, light, heart, darkness, light, heart, darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then I thought that I understood it at the end of Kingdom Hearts 1, but then Kingdom Hearts 2 brought in, what are the white ones called? They're like...
Oh, nobodies.
Like nobodies? Yeah, like, and that just like totally threw a wrench in my understanding. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, they've rearranged like everything, and then they're like, oh yeah, these exist now. Yeah. They threw that in, and they're like, oh yeah, this is how it is now. And I'm like, okay. And I mean, that's how Kingdom Hearts fans are now. They're just like, oh, this happened, so this is how this works now.
At least the game was fun.
It was. Like, it still is. I mean, I still enjoy playing it despite itself.
Yeah, the story's weird, but I enjoyed it because of the combat. Because I didn't like the turn-based stuff like a Final Fantasy VII and other ones like that, and so I like that it was more action involved. Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things that drew me to it. I mean, I initially liked it because it was like a crossover thing, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen that before. But I ended up getting really into it just because like it was fun to do battles, and it was like brain dead easy. So you could just you just hit the X button a bunch of times, and then like it was fun.
And I think part of what I enjoyed a lot too is because like I really like Disney stuff, and so I didn't know that much about the different games that were, or the different movies that were in the game.
Right.
And so like them getting surprised was me getting surprised too.
Yeah.
And like, oh my god, they went back to Halloween Town, and like awesome.
Right.
And so
so
man. I kind of want to hold off on watching any playthroughs of Kingdom Hearts 4 Kingdom Hearts 3 because I want to get a PlayStation 4 first.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then play it on my own.
It's
kind of experience it.
A lot of the Let's Players I've been watching have not even touched it, despite the fact that I know some of them like really are into it. But I guess it's not as viable for like some of the other like Let's Players to even touch it on their series.
It's such a grind.
Yeah, it really is. What I will say about the third one is that it was very streamlined. I like I probably had the least amount of trouble playing through that one, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you know, like I mean, excited for PlayStation 3, but like two games that I was like the most looking forward to, I think, besides Grand Theft Auto, and the new Grand Theft Auto titles were like, because there was a promise of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Last of the Guardians, and neither of those came out on PlayStation 3.
Yeah, oh man, that's why we got a 3. That's so funny. I got a 3 for Kingdom Hearts 3, and it just never came out, and then the PlayStation 4 came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's another investment. But I mean, heck, I liked Grand Theft Auto 5. That was fun. I lost my copy. I need to get a new one. And just throwing this out there, the one notable feature of Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 4 is the fact that you have a free-range camera when you're doing things with someone in a car. Like, yes.
So
like,
it's moved beyond first person? Because I know the first person was a thing.
Yeah,
like you can like play the game even in first person.
Yeah,
I played the whole campaign of GTA 5 in first person. I don't want to say it was a mistake, because I think it's like it was just a fun, stupid way to play it.
Yeah. Well, this is like they gave you like a free range camera in that, and that was like the one feature I noticed they put in there. I was like, that's funny. And
that was one of the only games I pre-ordered as well.
Yeah,
I pre-ordered it because it came out like, what was it, like 2 years before, and then the PC version got announced, and I just pre-ordered it instantly.
Right, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I know, it's good. It's still like, it's still GTA 5, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And plus modding. Oh man, I've always wanted to mod. That was so stupid. I ran some mods. Like, I found one where you could transform yourself into like different NPCs or animals even. And the animal thing was a little broken because I accidentally turned myself into a whale. And, well, first of all, I didn't realize I turned myself into a whale. So it scared the crap out of me when a giant whale popped up on my screen and died because whales can't survive out of water. They programmed it in so that you couldn't turn into a whale on land.
Huh.
You would like.
I didn't know that they even had whales anywhere in Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
you have to go pretty far.
I've seen sharks.
Oh yeah, I knew about the sharks. Oh man, I do not like. I like looking at sharks, but I could never get too close.
But I've seen, I don't know if it was Grand Theft Auto 5 or 4, where there was like a similar sort of mod, but they were like a giraffe.
Yeah. Huh.
And I don't remember. I mean, maybe because I guess
I
they
think that was 4.
Yeah, like they make models and stuff for 3D models for like things that appear on television.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what you have access to for some of the stuff in the movies, which a lot of people probably don't even explore.
Yeah.
Because I know I have seen for Grand Theft Auto 5, there were like monkeys, like chimps and stuff, and there was like, if you go to the theater and you watch movies, there's like a chimp movie.
Oh yeah.
And I guess that's where the model comes from. Yeah. And that's in the game.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. They started using animation in the fifth Grand Theft Auto. They like if you watch TV, like it's like it looks like cheap Flash animation, but it's still kind of funny. That like
it was like
yeah,
it's like a superhero guy.
Yeah. It was just like, oh, that's so dumb. And like I remember sitting and watching one of those for a few minutes and being like, oh my gosh, they actually made this for that long. Like because like. They
made like a whole like 3-episode series.
Yeah, and I was like, they did that for a video game where you're probably only gonna watch it for like 3 seconds, but like, of course, I watched it for I don't even know how long. I was just like, dang, that's crazy.
There's still like places on the map where I'll like stumble on it and be like, oh, I didn't even know there was like this thing here.
Oh yeah, no, it was. I think that was like one of the biggest open world games. I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it is anymore. I think Skyrim was probably bigger, but Skyrim was also like barren and there's nothing going on.
Right? Yeah, it was a little bit like a lot of people said that about Breath of the Wild. Actually, they said like, yeah, it's pretty big, but sometimes there's not that much to do. And I'm like, yeah, you just got to look for it though. Because I liked Breath of the Wild. It was the first Zelda game in a long time that I actually beat.
Yeah, I have my friend's Switch now, but I only have Smash Bros. On it.
Oh, well, I mean, sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah. Here's my problem with it is that I don't want to like put my credit card information in to pay for online.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like,
I think Twitch has
Twitch
some sort of promotion.
Does,
yeah, that's right.
But I would still have to like sign into it, right? If it was my Switch, no problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true.
But
well, like something that I had an idea about, and then I think PlayStation even implemented it after they had the whole security breach. Was that you buy gift cards separately, and then you pay with that. So you buy like an Amazon gift card, and then you use that to pay. So if you got like a sort of like gift card that could work as a credit card,
then paying for it with that,
with the Visa logo, something like that.
Yeah, it's like the cash equivalent of paying for services online.
Yeah, so it'd only ever have money that's already on there. So you put the money on, then you can use it right away.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about someone stealing information because they're not going to get anything if there's nothing on it.
Yeah. Depending on the time of week, if they stole my debit card, they wouldn't find any money on it. That all depends.
Are we supposed to have money?
Is
how it works?
That's what I was told. That's why. That's why I try to put stuff in there.
I don't think I'm doing it right.
It's like I don't think I'm playing this game of life correctly. It's not quite what I thought it would be. On that note, I think we might as well put this episode to bed. But
good night episode.
Yeah. It was a good one though. So I want to thank you guys for coming on and talking to me and saying all this stuff that filled out all the silence that was here. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So guys, that was the MK podcast, or the MK podcast. Sorry.
and Kyle, if somebody wants to follow you, where can they find you?
Yes.
Everywhere. I exist at all times in all locations.
But let's say like someone specifically wanted to find like
Twitter.com/Ratchet721, YouTube.com/Ratchet721. I don't remember if my YouTube has a 1 or not.
Either way, if you look for him on Twitter, you'll be able to find his YouTube.
Yeah, it's
okay. And I am at Gamer ARock on Twitter. It's terrible. Somebody already had the username I wanted, but GamerARock on Twitter, and then ARock Gamer on Instagram.
Yep. And so you guys do like gameplay videos and stuff like that, memes?
Yeah, on YouTube, ARock Gamer on YouTube. Do some Let's Plays.
Yeah.
Minecraft, Zelda, the old Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
Done those. I haven't finished a lot of games that I started.
Right. Yeah, neither do I. I have a lot of series that I was like, oh yeah, I want to do a series on this, and I just never finished it. It's like, but I do plan on returning to, me personally, I will be returning to Hollow Knight at some point to finish that up, and that is Maysun K, MAYSUNKAY. On Twitter and YouTube. You should be able to find me on both of those like that. And on YouTube, I post occasionally. I plan every week to have one of these out. At least that's the hope. So we'll see how that goes. So the MK podcast will be out every week. I haven't decided on the day of the week, but depending on when it comes out, that will be it. So there's that. Was there anything else we needed to cover?
Yeah, I think you gotta pronounce it MK.
MK, the MK podcast. MK. I will get this down next episode.
Guess, and I'm gonna tell you how to write it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna. But yeah, that was the MK podcast, and thank you guys for joining us. That'll be all. See you later. Y'all. 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 See you later.